Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 18 of the PISCOPOD. Thanks for tuning in. I am your host, Sasha, and we are, November the 2nd, 2025. I don't know where you're listening from, but here in Cowtown, we got some nice weather yesterday. I got the meatballs out to the farm, checking on their horse buddies. It was like 65 degrees, and by supper time, we had frost on everything. It's sunny today, but you can feel the bite in the wind. I believe that winter is upon us. We had snow in the mountains, and we had rain here at the house. So my wife and I, we danced in the rain for a little bit, because it's probably the last time we're going to see a warm, I guess it's fall, but I guess it's the last time we're going to see like a warm rain until spring, and the rebirth of life rears its head. So anyway, thanks for tuning in on this Sunday. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button somewhere, I think down here or down below. And I do appreciate the support. But we did it, folks. I officially have PISCOPOD trolls. I'm loving it. My last episode, I had, I'm going to call them out. Truth Y2S. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're looking. I hope you're watching. I hope you get over your jealousy. I guess this clown took umbrage about, my studio, the way that I do the broadcast, I guess. He's like, oh, you talk about it's in the foothills of the Rockies. Meanwhile, it's, what did he say? It's you're sitting in your studio in your home that was paid for by your trust fund inheritance, which is laughable. I showed it to my wife as soon as it popped up, and we had a good chuckle about it. It's the first time that I've ever had anybody actually create a fake account in order to troll me. Usually people have the balls to maybe call it out and call it out and so that you know who they are. But no, this clown show, this spineless jellyfish, decided to set up an account because it said Truth Y2S created 9 hours ago, no videos. So he exerted all that energy to create an account so that he could go onto my YouTube page and troll me. What these douchebags don't realize is that shit fuels my fire. I just laugh and I get a warm, fuzzy feeling inside when I know that somebody exerts that much energy and effort in order to hide behind a screen like a pussy and, try to, I don't even know what hurt my feelings. It's clearly someone that knows me well enough to know what my studio is, where my studio is, but, is deluded in the fact that, let's get some things straight. So one of the things that they said is that I'm sitting in my home, in my home studio that was paid for by my trust fund inheritance. First of all, that's fucking not true. I've had my studio up and running long before both my parents passed away. So that's a falsehood right there. Just jealousy is what I rack this up to be. One of the other things that they said, and I don't know whether it's a he or a she, I imagine it's a he because it just reeks of spineless jellyfish to some fucking coward whose balls haven't dropped yet to fucking post their name. Anybody that's followed me on social media knows that I don't have fake accounts. I am who I am. And if I troll you or if I want to call you out on something, you'll see that it's me. It's my name. It ain't some fucking fake account. So like I said, one of the other things that they were trolling me about is, you talk about know your audience. One of the first things that I said when I started this podcast is, I don't even know if I have an audience, to be honest with you. I'm doing this just as a, for a lack of better word, therapy, man. It's always good to talk things out. I am so appreciative of all the people that are out there that are tuning in every week and sending me nice messages and stuff like that, taking the time to listen to this podcast. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. And I'm glad that some of the stuff that I'm talking about resonates with you to the point that you're tuning in week after week. So to you, I don't want to call you fans because that's just like, I'm not doing this out of, some weird thing that I want to create a fan base or anything like that. I'm just glad that you folks are tuning in and that the shit that I'm talking about, either entertains you or resonates with you. Or even if it's something that offends you, man, grow a pair. beastbellymedia@gmail.com. Reach out, send me a message. All my socials are primarily public. You can send me a message there too. You don't have to set up a fake account, you jam tart. Just reach out and have some discourse with me if you got the fucking backbone to do it. One of the other things that they said is, you talk about that you're broadcasting from the foothills of the Rockies. Well, unless you weren't paying attention in school when they taught you how to read maps, if you actually look at where my home is, it is nestled in the foothills of the Rockies. So I don't know what your beef is. Jealousy. It's just such a sad, pathetic way to go through life, man. Are you mad that I'm broadcasting from the foothills of the Rockies? Are you mad that I'm sitting in my studio that you think was paid for by my trust fund inheritance? That in itself is a fucking joke. But anyway, don't be jealous, loser. Go out and do something with your life, man. Try working hard. If you spend half as much energy, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps instead of creating fake accounts and trolling people who you have seething jealousy over, you might actually be somewhere other than fucking crying in your soup behind your fucking keyboard, loser. Anyway, having said that, I am appreciative even of the fucking trolls. What I don't like is I just don't like these cowards that hide behind their keyboard. Show me who you are, man. Give me a call. You know me enough to know that both my parents died and left me money. You know enough to know that my studio is located in my home, as you said, in the basement. Yeah, man. We live in Canada. We have things like basements. Unless I would have bought a bungalow, then I'd be broadcasting from the main floor. But when I purchased my house, I wanted it soundproofed, so those concrete foundation walls that are nestled below ground, they do the trick quite nicely. So yeah. Anyway, moving on from these losers that have nothing better to do than shit on people that are having fun and making some new friends, making some new followers and stuff like that. You're just sad and pathetic. Anyway, moving on. How's your week been going? Here, well, everywhere, Halloween is over. The ghouls and goblins have gone back to their place in Hades. That Halloween is over because the television is sadly full of Christmas advertisements. Like, fuck, people, can't you wait like another 10, 11 days and wait for like Veterans Day, Remembrance Day and stuff like that? Can't you wait for that to be over before you start with the jingle bells and all the other shit? I mean, if you're queer, you get like parades and Pride Week and Pride Month and all that other shit associated with the alphabet people. But you know what? We can't wait 11 days and honor our veterans before we start talking about Santa Claus. It'll be interesting to see what Christmas will be like this year with the Western world being overrun by people who do not follow Christ and do not follow Christmas. So it'll be an interesting concept. Speaking of people that don't share Western belief systems, have you guys been keeping up with what's going on in Gaza, in Israel? It's been a little over 2 weeks since the ceasefire, and Israel, well, let's not point fingers at anybody in particular. Let's do it this way. So it's been 2 weeks since the ceasefire, and in those 2 weeks, that ceasefire has been violated 80 times. That's right, 80 times. So I'm not taking sides on either side of this. I am certainly not a Hamas supporter by any stretch of the imagination. I would not lose a wink of sleep if they were wiped off the face of the earth and existence and wiped out of existence for all of eternity. Wouldn't bother me in the slightest. However, having said that, let's not be deluded in the fact or gaslit into the fact that, Israel is the good guy in this equation. Because you can be critical of both sides and still be on the right side. 80 times this ceasefire has been violated. And, of course, Israel, goose-stepping forward in their ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. Because Gaza, they say, has violated the terms of the ceasefire, they have stopped aid going into Gaza because that's what the moral army and the people of God do when they don't get their way. They let it out on innocent women and children and continue to starve them to death, which by all indications is exactly what's been going on for the 2 years that they've been embroiled in this. Ironically, good old President Trump, love him or loathe him, he's been eerily quiet on this violation of the ceasefire agreements. He's been completely silent, as a matter of fact. So, now hearkening back to the Charlie Kirk thing, it's hard not to see how big of an influence the state of Israel and the Zionist lobby in the Americas. It's not hard to see how much power they wield in American politics. Because, like I said, Donald J. Trump, completely silent on the ceasefires, right? He was all patting himself on the back about brokering this peace deal. What did it last? 3 days? Where is he now? Why isn't he calling out? Why isn't he calling out anybody, for that matter, on the violations and of this peace deal? You know what he isn't silent on is wanting to go to war in Venezuela. Now, fuck, who had that on their bingo card this week? I certainly didn't. And it wasn't until I was watching some other news sources that I'm like, what? He wants to go to war with Venezuela? Why? So I went down a bit of a rabbit hole on this whole dick swinging of Venezuela. And from what I gather, I guess he's all bent out of shape. At least what closet queer Lindsey Graham went on a podcast and espoused on behalf of Donald Trump that he said that, Donald J. Trump, he's just not taking any more shit from the Venezuelans. Basically what it is, it's another regime change that they want. Maduro, I'm not saying that this guy is not corrupt. I mean, corruption and South American countries kind of go hand in hand, ever since I've been old enough to pay attention, kind of thing, right? So it isn't something out of the ordinary that, that the government is corrupt. But, if we're about to go to war with every government that's corrupt and violating civil rights for its citizens, I would think that the first place that the United States industrial military complex should be going after would be the United Kingdom. No, but no, we're going after Maduro, and they're saying it's because of drugs. Now, going down the rabbit hole, I kind of looked into, well, how many drugs are coming in from Venezuela? Not very many. Then I thought about human trafficking. How much of that is coming from, detectable Venezuela? Also, I mean, any amount of human trafficking is abhorrent. But in the big scope of things, it's not that much that I could tell. The drugs, the human trafficking, it's all coming from Mexico. Not all. Some of it is even coming from my country, Canada. Because since Trump has closed the borders, the southern borders, the criminal cartels, they've moved their operations into other areas where they can penetrate the border. And one of those things, as I covered on a previous episode, one of those areas is Canada. We have about 4,000 illegal fentanyl labs across the country. We have the Mexican drug cartel that have taken a significant foothold in the ports of Vancouver and ports down east. They're running guns and drugs through our border, left, right, and center. But I mean, the United States, they're not invading Canada, though somehow I secretly wish that they would. I mean, I'll give you Carney's home address if Mr. Trump wants to send a couple of stealth bombers with bunker busters that way. I think Western Canada, with the exception of British Columbia, of course, they would probably hail him king of the world. But so none of that's going on. But they want to go to war with Venezuela. Could it be because Venezuela has like the largest oil reserves? They have a shitty refining process. It's kind of antiquated due to sanctions and tariffs and other things that Western countries have imposed on them. They haven't had the money or the infrastructure and stuff like that to bolster their oil extraction process. But hey, the Americans have sunk a couple of fucking drug boats off the coast, and now they want to go to war. But I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that Venezuela has more oil in the ground than Saudi Arabia, and no way of really extracting it and getting it to market. So, what better way than the military machine to overthrow the government, install a puppet government that's sympathetic to American interests, and voila, the United States solves its own energy crisis. Now, am I the only one that finds it very frightening that whether it's the United States or any other country, am I the only one that finds it frightening that, hey, if I don't like who is leading your country and they're not sympathetic to basically what I want. You have the opportunity to pack up and leave, or we're just going to fucking come in and kill you. I mean, I've always thought of, the Americas as the good guy. And the older I get, the more I am doing this podcast here, the more I'm realizing, fuck, we've been gaslit by all our governments. They're all full of shit. They're all not operating in the interests of their citizens. I mean, my fellow Canadians, look around. Do you think that Prime Minister Carney is operating on behalf of what's good for the citizens? He's lost thousands of jobs. He's let 837,000 immigrants into our country with no infrastructure in the first 4 months of 2025, with no backtracking or holdback in sight. They're just flooding our streets. Am I the only one that is seeing this? Am I the only one that's going like, fuck, like how much more of this are we going to allow to happen, right? Like they're talking about that the Venezuelan government is bad. It's bad for the people, for their people. It's an authoritarian government. What about fucking Starmer in the UK? I mean, you can be you can be an immigrant in the UK. You can have all sorts of violent crimes under your belt that you've committed in the UK, and they won't do anything to lock you up. But if you post a meme that they don't like, you can go to jail for 2, 3, and more years. They're pulling people out of their homes for memes that they find offensive. I mean, what the fuck is going on, man? Nobody's invading the UK. Nobody's talking about invading the UK. And like, how much more of an authoritarian government can there be? The fact that Starmer is like walking around upright and hasn't been put into the ground yet just blows my mind. The fact that half of these people are still upright and walking around without having been planted in the ground blows my mind. Mark Carney here in Canada is another one on that list. But nobody's invading the UK. Nobody's saying anything about it. What they're posting about is, King Charles, he went to visit the Pope. Big fucking deal. He has to visit the Pope because he knows that his country is done. And the mongrels are at the gates of Buckingham Palace, man. They say in another 5 to 10 years, the United Kingdom will be a Muslim country. Well, of course it will. These guys breed like rabbits. They don't believe in birth control or anything like that. They breed like rabbits. Meanwhile, in the Western world, what are we doing with our family? We're trying to dismantle the family unit. Those of us that and I fall into the category. My wife and I don't have kids. We never wanted kids. I'm glad that we don't, because this is a shit world to bring these kids into. But what are we doing in the Western countries here? Well, we're, those people that do have kids, we're, teaching them gender ideology and confusing them so that the boys can be girls, and they're lopping off their genitals and hormone blockers. And meanwhile, the mongrels that we're letting in, they're breeding like fucking rabbits. They don't have to overthrow us through violence, although that they're using that tactic as well. They don't have to overthrow us through violence. They just need to outbreed us. Look at a political map of the United Kingdom and show me London, the mayor, Muslim. All the other big city centers in the UK, Muslim. Well, who do you think that the Muslim voters are going to vote for? You think they're going to vote for the lily white guy that's all about, Christianity? Or you think that they're going to vote for the goat herder that fucking believes that you can marry a 9-year-old girl because that's what Allah says? Think about it, folks. How much fucking longer are we going to sit back and take this bullshit? I think the storm is coming, but like, at least for me in Canada, man, I hope it's not too late, man, because there's a lot of fucking spineless jellyfish that surround me on a daily basis. Not so much in Alberta, but Alberta has its fair share. But, I look at some of the news broadcasts, that are coming in out of Toronto and stuff like that, and these fucking people are insane. They're fucking insane. More immigration they want. They don't even see the writing on the wall. Anybody else find it odd that, Australia, Canada, and Europe, they're all falling at the same time, in the same way, and in the same fashion? Unbridled, unvetted mass immigration, flooding our streets with immigrants where we have no infrastructure, and they're bankrupting us. They're bankrupting us. I went to the grocery store yesterday again. $160, man. $160, and it's nothing. Nothing in the cart for $160. And it's just going up and up and up and up. And our Liberal government, they go on TV and they're telling us, well, Canadians will have to get used to living with a lower standard of living. Is that what you fucking people voted for, man? That we have a government that can send tens of millions and billions of dollars to fight wars in Ukraine, where that puppet homosexual Zelensky is laundering money, has been installed as a puppet government. Where else do you want to talk? Where they're, where Canada or any of the other countries, they always seem to have lots and lots of money to send to the Ukraine, or send to Israel, or send to the LBGT community for fucking rainbow parades and tampons. They always have money for that, but the citizens that are footing the bill for all of that, yeah, you guys are going to have to get used to a lower standard of living. Did anybody catch the fact of the attack in UK yesterday on the train? The multiple stabbings where numerous people have been injured and killed? If you haven't heard about that, that's by design, because nobody has really been covering it. You actually got to dig a bit in order to hear about this story. And if you do find this story, if you listen to the legacy media shit, they broadcast that the perpetrators were British nationals. Well, that's a little disingenuous. Yeah, they're British nationals. They're born in Britain and all, but they're both people of color that perpetrated this. They both have Muslim affiliations, but the lily white Brits, they're up in arms. They're not even up in arms, but they seem to be, taking umbrage about the fact of how their media is reporting, it was British nationals that caused this attack on the train. So much so that the British government, they're feverishly scrambling in order to change the definition of what terrorism is. I'm not lying. Folks, Google it. This is what's going on in the UK, man. Google it. So the British government is feverishly scrambling to change what the definition of a terrorist attack is, and they want to change it so that you can only call it a terrorist attack if the terrorists previously broadcast their intent to do so. So if it's like a sleeper cell and they just go out and start randomly, shooting kids up at a fucking Catholic school or at a Taylor Swift dance recital, well, that's not really terrorism, even though they're Muslim and even though they have ideologies that hate Western society. That's not really a terrorist attack because they didn't fucking, put up flyers on every lamppost before they did it. Folks, we're living in fucking crazy town, man. And I am just blown away that everywhere I look, there's these spineless jellyfish that are like, oh, they just sit back and allow this stuff to happen, man. I'm telling you, folks, arm yourselves. Learn some self-defense because it's coming, man. It's coming for you. And you don't want to be that fucking person on the train that's sitting there with with a rainbow fanny pack and no way to fucking protect yourself. Because these vermin, they care nothing. They care nothing about you, about your Western ways. They don't care nothing. They don't care about you. The reason that, these Muslims and the Antifa, the reason that they're paired up together is because these, the alphabet people and the Free Palestine people and all these other fucking losers, they're useful idiots. As soon as they have enough power to wield, you guys are going to be the first ones that are going to get free flying lessons off the nearest tall building, man. And if you think any different, have a fucking look around in the world. Have a look at the European Union. Have a look at what's going on there. Have a look in the UK, where you can't fucking take a subway into work or to your favorite club on a Saturday night without thinking that some goat fucker is going to fucking stab you just because you, were born white in the UK? People are going to look at this this podcast and think, fuck, that guy's a hateful guy. Yes, I'm becoming very, very hateful, man. Very, very hateful. I'm tired of seeing my culture decimated while fellow people of my culture sit back and pretend that none of this is happening, man. They were the British authorities, they were reluctant to release the names of the perpetrators other than the fact that they were British nationals, simply due to the fact that because their names are exactly as you would expect their names to be if you hear about some fucking random assholes on a fucking subway train that are murdering people. It's not a shocker. Does anybody really get shocked when they hear, there was like a fucking bomb that went off on a double-decker bus in London, England? Does anybody really think that when they release the name, it's going to be like, Brian Medford? No, nobody is fucking shocked. And with the exception of some of the circle that I run with, we're preparing ourselves, man. And you best do the same thing too, man, because it's coming for you, man. The only person that really, again, love them or loathe them, we were talking, I think it was the last podcast, about the Christian massacres in Nigeria. Finally, love them or loathe them, Donald J. Trump, the King of America, as the lefties call him, no kings. They're in the streets protesting no kings, and then like a week later they're like, oh, please, king, we need some food, we need some SNAP payments, man. Anyway, he's the only one that has the balls to finally stand up and do something. He was on his Truth Social the other day, and he plugged out a tweet saying that they're gonna go in guns a-blazing and stop this Christian genocide that's happening in Nigeria and Sudan, I believe is the place. And good for him. But he needs to carry that further. Send some troops over into the UK and start leveling, these little Kabul neighborhoods and stuff like that, where they're practicing Sharia law, where British bobbies, they don't even go into those neighborhoods for fear of Imagine you have the law of the land that's scared to go into an area of their land because they're scared of the population that has overrun the land. It's fucking crazy talk, and they're gaslighting us citizens to just sit back, just let us take care of it. Well, we're watching how you're taking care of it, and you're not fucking taking care of it. I mean, let's go closer to home here for my Canadian friends. We got the Liberal minister Mark Miller, who was on TV the other day, and with a straight face and in all earnestness, he said that he thinks that Christians that read Bible verses, that read what he deems as hateful Bible verses in public should be prosecuted. What? Where am I living? Am I living in fucking like 1940s Russia? He said this on TV in front of fucking news cameras. This isn't some soundbite that someone caught on their caught on their cell phone, during a drunken party. No, he went on TV with news cameras in front of him that and said the words that I feel that Christians who read hateful Bible verses in public should be prosecuted under the law. But when you have Muslim immigrants that are on the doorsteps of Christian churches praying to Allah, and I mean, whether you want to, look at this prayer as, well, it's their freedom of religion. Sure, I'll grant you that. But do they have to do it on the doorsteps of the Christian church? No. It's to create chaos. It's to create fear. And it's to fucking rub our noses in the fact that, hey, man, we're here and we're going to fucking take over. And there's nothing that you can fucking do about it because, your lily white, spineless politicians don't have the fucking backbone to stand up. And in another fucking couple of years, we're just going to outvote you so that everybody that does have access to the balance of power and the legal system is going to be in our camp. They're going to be Muslims. Look at New York City. Again, we talked about this last fucking podcast. We got this Muslim terrorist sympathizer. Pictures of him with the guy that was a character witness for the World Trade Center bombers the first time around. He's like arm in arm, buddy, and he's a great man, he says on the fucking tweet. This is who New Yorkers are going to vote in as their new mayor of New York City. And I have friends in New York, man. I have friends in New York that are horrified. And then we have friends in New York that are like, yeah, he's the best choice. I seen AOC yesterday or the day before in some Democratic rally, losing her fucking mind, like literally salivating at the fact of how they are going to crush Republicans. And I mean, we have it here in Canada. We have ministers in Parliament that are calling out conservative pundits and opposition, hey, if you don't like what you say, come and say that to my face. Come and say it outside. This is in the Canadian Parliament, and the guy doesn't get sanctioned. Nothing. Nothing's happening. Folks, are we going to sit around and let this shit fucking happen? Because I'm not. I'm telling you. I'm going to say it again. Arm yourselves. Do not turn in your fucking guns and get some fucking self-defense classes. Protect your wife, protect your children, protect your culture. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on with what's going on. Our Supreme Court of Canada. I don't know if you caught that in the fucking news, but our Supreme Court of Canada, they said that the minimum 1-year sentence, which in my opinion is already fucking abhorrent. I think that child predators that are convicted, they should never see the light of day again. And I'll even go one step further. I don't want my tax dollars going to housing them. If the government doesn't want to pay to, let's say, dispatch them, call me up, man. If you give me, a free and clear, I'll do it for free, man. It'll be my new hobby. But yeah, so our Supreme Court of Canada, they have ruled that the minimum 1-year sentence for accessing or owning child pornography is unconstitutional. Fuck, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say to this other than the fact that we're getting overrun by fucking demons and devils, man. And this Supreme Court ruling is in part based on a guy that was caught with I think some 600 or 800 images on his computer. He's been involved with the law in regards to this, and you can't even say it because YouTube will fucking bury your channel or take it out of commission altogether for just even saying the word that I can't say. But so this Supreme Court ruling stems in part by a guy that was arrested with some 600 or 800 images of children 6 years and under in various depictions of penetration and sodomy. And I mean, any right-thinking fucking person should just you know what, man? You just fucking take them out back and you douse them in gasoline and you light them on fire and everybody does a sing-along. You roast a couple of marshmallows and you pat each other on the back because you did a good job in ridding our world of this fucking piece of shit. But no, our Supreme Court is like, what, 1 year in jail? That's crazy talk. It's unconstitutional. Anyway, folks, I don't know what to tell you anymore, man. I am at a loss for fucking words, man, because, I don't want to say, what do you do? Everybody that finds this abhorrent, we know exactly what to do, man. The question is are we going to sit back and do nothing? Or are we going to stand up, lace up, and start showing these fucking people that they work for us, we don't work for them, and perhaps it's time for these fellas and ladies, because there's ladies on this fucking Supreme Court here in Canada, maybe it's time for them to find a liberal doctor that'll put eyes in the back of their head, because they should not be able to walk the streets and feel safe anymore. Sorry, that's just my opinion. I'm not calling for violence, but maybe sometimes violence is the answer. Maybe it's time that we show these people why they've been living in caves since the last Crusades. Okay? Islam, Sharia law, marrying underage girls, marrying your girls off to arranged marriages is just not Western culture. And we should not and we will not be forced to fucking turn a blind eye to that. And if you have your lily white fucking friends and stuff like that are like, well, that's just their culture, they're the enemy too, as far as I'm concerned. Again, sorry to fucking have this dark and, this dark and, nasty and aggressive podcast today, but fuck, people. What are we doing here, man? What are we doing? Are we going to wait until Canada is the United Kingdom? Are we going to wait until they're already trying to do it with the C-12 and the C-9 laws or whatever that they're trying to pass? They are already trying to initialize legislation that is going to turn us basically into the UK 2.0, right? So that, if they don't like a meme because you're critical of Mark Carney, well, they'll just come knock on your door. I seen a video the other day in the United States where the police showed up at this guy's door because he was fucking posting anti-Israel content in the United States, folks. So your tax dollars, or in this case, the United States, your American tax dollars is being used to fund bootlickers that come to your door and harass you because you're critical of a foreign government, man. It's not even that they're critical of their own government. It's a fucking foreign government, man. Now, people call me anti-Semitic or whatever. I don't give a fuck. You know, but like, are you guys clued in yet? Do you guys realize how much power in the United States that the Israeli lobby, AIPAC and stuff like that, wields in the United States, that they can have what to this day is still being touted as the freest, greatest country in the history of the world? Really? How free is it that when cops can come to your fucking door and fucking harass you because you think that the Jews are being genocidal in Gaza? They're not even your government. They're a foreign government. They're a foreign government. Would they come to your door if you said, those Ruskies, man, they're fucking terrible people? They don't come to the door for that. Why? Because the Russians haven't paid for 90% of the American Senate, but the Jews have, the state of Israel has. We can go back to the Charlie Kirk thing. If anybody's seen his grieving widow introducing J.D. Vance at this rally, it was the creepiest and weirdest thing I've ever heard, both in the way that she, for lack of a better word, passionately embraced him and ran her fingers more or less through his hair, to this uber Christian woman leading Turning Point USA, dressed like a video vixen from a Motley Crue video. And when I said something on one of the posts, when I seen that, the vitriol of people attacking me, oh, you're a piece of shit, and how can you even say that? People grieve in their own way. Yeah, you know what? I don't give a shit what anybody thinks, man. There's more to that Charlie Kirk story than meets the eye. And that's why they have the smear campaign against Tucker Carlson. That's why they got that rampant smear campaign against Candace Owens. She's been right on everything. The Bridget Macron thing. If you haven't been following that, or you haven't gone down that rabbit hole, recently it was discovered that Brigitte Macron, on her tax forms, somebody in her own office leaked that her tax preparation forms, they don't say Brigitte Macron, they say Jean-Michel Trogneau, which is what Candace Owens has been saying all along, is that Brigitte Macron is a tranny, used to be Jean-Michel Trogneau, groomed Emmanuel Macron when he was 14 years old, and he, not she, he, meaning Brigitte, because it's a dude, was 39 years old. So again, it goes against all moral guidelines that most polite society would find just fucking abhorrent. Number one, that it's, being a teacher, a position in power, taking advantage of one of their students. That's one thing. The fact that it's a 39-year-old man having sexual relationships with a 14-year-old boy. That's another, moral misnomer thing that, that most people would find fucking absolutely vile. But, so the French palace is feverishly trying to, take that out of the news. Right? Because now the cat's out of the bag. And this is why governments around the world, and even in the freest country in the world, wink, wink, in the United States, this is why they're trying to pass these censorship laws, man. This is why here in Canada, they're trying to pass laws that, that if you don't toe the fucking line, that they can actually cut you off the fucking internet. Cut you off. cut you off. So, A, you don't have access to news other than what they want you to fucking hear. And B, you don't have access to voice your opinion other than if it toes the fucking party line. We're becoming communist China. And it's no surprise that if you look at the trade deals that have been struck in the world with the United States, Donald J. Tariff Trump, every country other than Canada and China have struck deals. There's like 10 or 12 countries that were getting tariffed by the United States. They've all struck deals with the United States except for Canada. Canada, Mark Carney, that bed shitter, he's been cozying up to, the fish heads in China. Right? But yeah, folks, there's nothing to see here, man. It's all a conspiracy theory. Look at Sasha. He's just that long-haired, douchey fucking trust fund fucking baby that's broadcasting from his studio in his basement and not really the foothills of the Rockies, even though if you fucking read a map and know how to read a map, it's exactly where I'm broadcasting from, the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. Anyway, folks, I digress. That's what happened this week in the news. And then, like I said, unless you're following some external news sources, it certainly ain't something that you're going to hear about up here in Canada. You're probably not hearing about a lot of it down in the United States either, especially when it comes to, say, things like the Israeli-Gaza conflict, because let's be honest with you, the United States government is controlled by the Zionists. They're Jewish supporters, the Adelsons that gave, Donald Trump over $100 million to win the election. But yeah, they didn't do it because he was going to allow Israel to finally finish off Palestine and go with their narrative of, that they're God's chosen people. We're just goyim to them, man. We're just a means to an end. They need our money. The Islamists are the same way. It's in their doctrine that they're allowed to lie through their fucking teeth in order to propagate their agenda of takeover. But yeah, it's us white folks, man. It's us white folks. We're just tinfoil hat wearing fucking losers that we're just grasping at straws. There's nothing to see. Anyway, I know that my followers here, with the exception of the trolls, I know that you guys are on board with what I'm saying, man, and I know that you guys see it. So, I think it's time that we start organizing and preparing, because it's coming for us, man. And, it's coming for us. We need to prepare. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going to fucking fight like the third lion on Noah's Ark, man. I ain't going down on my knees to these fucking vermin, man. Whether it's the Zionist fucking genocidal war criminals, or whether it's the Islamists and their Sharia law and their fucking nonsense. If I'm going to go out, I said this to a friend the other day, I came into this world covered in someone else's blood, and I mean, if I have to go out that way, I guess that's how I'm going to go out. Anyway, folks, I do appreciate you. I'm looking at my counter here. We're at the 53-minute mark. I hopefully I try not to ramble on too much, but I know that I sometimes go off kilter here and get a little long-winded. But fuck, I'm passionate about what's going on, man, and it scares me. Scares me in the sense that, not that I'm frightened, but I'm frightened that there's so many people, I don't want to say in my orbit, but let's just say in my vicinity, because I try to eliminate these kind of people out of my, per se, orbit. So I'm not frightened in the sense, because I see it coming. Everybody sees it coming. What frightens me is that there's so many people that don't see it coming, or that don't think that this is going to happen. I mean, all you have to do is fucking open your eyes and Expose yourself to some other news sources. Expose yourself to some German news sources so that you can see what's going on there. Expose yourself to some not legacy media sources in the UK. Go to some people that are like on the ground, that are like, you know, like in their trust fund studios like me, in some basement somewhere, and you know, and get their opinion of what's happening, you know, like boots on the ground, what's happening there, because it's fucking scary, folks. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Tune in next Sunday, 8 o'clock, for episode 19. Fuck, I can't believe I'm already done 19 episodes, man. I didn't think that I would be able to get through one or two, and here I am at 19. I hope they're getting a little better. I hope they're getting a little smoother. Man, I appreciate all of you, even the trolls. But hey, trolls, if you guys want to troll me, fucking grow a pair of balls, man. Show me who you are so that we can have some conversation and discourse. Don't hide behind a fake account, you fucking pussies. Anyway, thanks for tuning in on this Sunday, November the 2nd. I am going to try to give my 2 dogs a bath today. That should be interesting. Nico, he's pretty good. He doesn't mind baths. He doesn't dig them, but he doesn't mind them. Navi, on the other hand, you know, the rescue, she was a rescue, so I don't know, you know, I don't know what her life was like up until we got her. But the thing that I do know is she likes water, she likes swimming, but she does not like baths. So if you see me next week covered in bandages and scratches, it ain't from some wild sexcapade. It's because my baby girl Navi shredded me while trying to give her a bath. Anyway, folks, stay safe. As I said earlier in the podcast, man, prepare yourselves, man. And I'm not talking about like food and water, although that's important too. I'm talking about, you know, get your wife, get your daughters, get your sons, for gosh sake, into self-defense courses, man. Don't leave them at the mercy of these fucking hooligans who have such an depraved difference to fucking human life, for whatever reason, because they've been indoctrinated into this fucking weird religion. Anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in. Have yourselves a great Sunday. We will recap next week's news next Sunday. Go down to, I think it's in this corner right here of my screen where you can subscribe. You know, send me some hate mail. No, I'm kidding. I don't want hate mail, but reach out to me if you got any story ideas, or if you got any, you know, further information on topics that I've covered, you know, that you think that I should look into. By all means, man, reach out to me. Communication is the key to how we are going to beat these fucking vermin. Anyway, folks, have yourselves a great Sunday. Have yourselves a great week. And, yeah, see ya.